Spending time alone is a choice many of us make in search of peace, reflection, and solace. But there's a danger in isolation, a trap that many fall into without even realizing it. You see, spending time alone can be therapeutic, but when it becomes a way of life, it can lead to a destructive pattern. I want to talk to you today about the consequences of this habit, especially for women. It's not just about physical isolation, but the emotional and mental disconnect that often accompanies it. We live in a world that tells us that to be strong, we must stand alone. We are told that to succeed, to overcome, we need to be independent, self-sufficient, and able to face the world on our own. There's a powerful message in that. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. And yes, you can, but here's the thing that often gets overlooked: the need for connection, the need for others, the need for shared experiences, for love, for support. This isn't a weakness, it's a strength. When a woman spends too much time alone, she starts to cut herself off from the very essence of what makes us human. We are social beings. We thrive on relationships. The most successful people in the world didn't get to where they are by doing it all by themselves. So they had people around them. They had mentors, friends, family, partners, communities. They knew when to ask for help, when to lean on others, when to let others in. But when a woman isolates herself, she starts to lose touch with her own humanity. She starts to become a mere shadow of who she could be. Alone, she's left to her thoughts, and in silence, her insecurities grow louder. In the absence of voices and the sound of others, she hears the noise in her own head, and it's often filled with doubt, fear, and negativity. She becomes her own worst enemy, and she doesn't even know it. Isolation can also distort perception. When you're always alone, there's no one to challenge your way of thinking. There's no one to tell you when you're wrong, to give you an outside perspective, or to offer guidance. You get stuck in your own limited worldview, trapped in your own echo chamber. The decisions you make, the way you see yourself, the way you move in the world, it all becomes skewed. Without others to offer wisdom or correction, you begin to think your way is the only way. And this is dangerous because the world is too complex, too dynamic for anyone to figure it out on their own. Now, I want you to think about the emotional consequences of this solitude. Emotions are meant to be shared. They are meant to be expressed, to be felt deeply, and to be witnessed by others. When we bottle up our emotions, when we don't have anyone to talk to, those emotions don't go away. They fester. They build up. Over time, they become toxic. Isolation breeds loneliness, and loneliness breeds sadness, frustration, and anger. And when those emotions are left unchecked, they lead to depression. But here's the deeper, even more dangerous truth. Over time, the longer a woman spends isolated, the more she convinces herself that she doesn't need anyone. She starts to believe that being alone is safer, easier, and less painful than facing the challenges that come with connecting with others. She builds walls around herself, and that, my friends, is when the real danger sets in. She starts to believe that she's invincible, that she can handle everything on her own, and in doing so, she isolates herself even more. The very act of withdrawing becomes an addiction. She becomes so used to her own company, so reliant on her own inner world, that the thought of letting anyone else in becomes frightening. And this fear is one of the most powerful forces in the world. It keeps us stuck. It keeps us small. But here's the thing I want you to understand. We were never meant to be alone. We were never meant to navigate this world by ourselves. We were meant to grow through connection, to learn from each other, to challenge each other, to love and support each other. This doesn't mean you have to be around people all the time, but it does mean that there is strength in community. There is power in allowing others to be part of your journey. So when a woman surrounds herself with a supportive network, When she opens up to others, she begins to see herself from a new perspective. She realizes that she's not alone in her struggles, that others are walking similar paths, facing similar challenges. She finds strength in vulnerability, and in turn, she becomes stronger. She starts to realize that it's okay to ask for help, to let people in, to share her burden. She starts to build connections that will lift her up and help her grow. Being alone is not the problem. It's the constant isolation that holds us back. It's the belief that we have to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders alone. It's the mindset that says, I don't need anyone. This mindset is dangerous because when you believe you don't need anyone, you miss out on the beautiful, supportive, and life-changing relationships that are waiting for you. So what does it take to break free from this pattern? It starts with recognizing the danger of constant isolation. It takes acknowledging that we need others, that we are stronger together, and that true strength comes from being vulnerable and connected. It takes stepping out of our comfort zones and building relationships that nurture our souls. It takes understanding that we can't do it all alone, and that's okay. In fact, it's more than okay, it's necessary. You don't have to wait until you're at rock bottom to make this change. You don't have to reach the point where you feel like there's no way out. Start today. Start by reaching out to someone you trust. Share a part of yourself. Let them in. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself be heard. And in doing so, you'll begin to open up a whole new world of possibilities. You'll start to understand that there's strength in numbers, that you're not alone, and that the people who care about you are there to help you through your darkest days. At the end of the day, no one can go through life alone. We were never meant to do it that way. The strength you need, the courage you need, the love you need, they're all found in connection with others. It's in the people who challenge you, who lift you up, who hold you accountable, who love you unconditionally. It's in the relationships that support you, that encourage you to be your best self, that remind you of your worth. When you allow yourself to open up and embrace those connections, you unlock the door to a life filled with peace, love, and purpose. So to the woman who has spent too much time alone, I say this: it's time to step out of the shadows. It's time to surround yourself with people who care about you. It's time to let go of the belief that you have to handle everything on your own. There is strength in vulnerability, power in connection, and greatness in community. Don't let isolation keep you from experiencing the fullness of life. Reach out, open up, and let others walk alongside you. You are not alone, and you don't have to be. In conclusion, while solitude can offer moments of peace and self-reflection, the dangers of constant isolation, particularly for women, are real and profound. We are social creatures meant to connect, share, and grow with others. By withdrawing too often or too long, we risk disconnecting from the world around us, stunting our emotional, mental, personal growth. It's in our relationships, our communities, and our ability to lean on others where true strength lies. The act of reaching out, of allowing others in, is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our courage and wisdom. Life is meant to be shared. It's through connection that we heal, grow, and discover the fullness of our potential. So remember, you don't have to face everything alone. Step into the light of community. Embrace your relationships and let the love, support, and understanding of others guide you toward a life of strength, peace, and fulfillment. You are not meant to walk this journey by yourself. Never forget that the greatest gift is the power of connection.